Foreign investors pull out a record $15 billion from China in a quarter. China's economic slowdown has been a very worrying investors and increasing pessimism, forcing them to pull out their money from the country. The recent shocking investment numbers are proof to it, which shows foreign investors have pulled out a record $15 billion from China in just the last quarter, April through June 2024. As per the latest data released by the State Administration of Foreign Exchange, the direct investment liabilities in China's balance of payments fell almost $15 billion in April through June quarter, only the second time the figure turned negative. For the first 6 months, it was down about $5 million. As per a report by Bloomberg, if the decline in the investment numbers continues for the remaining year, it will mark the first annual net outflow since at least 1990, when comparable data began. Now, the reason why I bring this up is that China is going through like a quasi-economic crisis right now. You know, they said basically like over the last 3 years, foreign investors have pulled out $6 trillion out of China. You know, and this is like a big part of it is like the short term of it all is that over in the EU, they've been having basically EU's putting tariffs on Chinese goods. They put them on their EVs up to 37% tariffs on their EVs because China is subsidizing all their car makers, manufacturers. They're subsidizing. That's why people are like, these Chinese cars are great, but they're cheap. It's because the government subsidizes them so they can make them cheaper and then dump them in our markets, the U.S. market. That we won't let them have them over here either. And they were dumping them over in Europe, and they were outselling all the car manufacturers they had who had to compete on a level playing field. But the playing field's unlevel because the government's subsidizing these manufacturers so they can make their cars way cheaper. They're like,
yeah, them China EU cars is.
They're like, this is $30,000, but in our country that car would be like 85 to 100 because of what it is. Then like a Land Rover, like a Range Rover and shit looking car. That shit would have been like 100 and something thousand over here.
The world is squeezing China right now.
What'd you say?
You feel the rest of the world is squeezing China? I
mean, absolutely. I feel like they have to because China's been cheating for a very long time, man. If we can't, our businesses have to come over there and give away their proprietary information. They have to, they can't do a bunch of shit in their country. They can't even make certain investments in their country. We can't buy things in their country, but then they can come over here and do whatever the fuck they want.
Yeah, America's for sale.
I mean, they've been doing this all over the world.
You're driving down the street and the signs in English and Spanish. Let's not play dumb here now. I'm not saying you are. I'm just saying like.
No, yeah, absolutely. And another thing with China, like right now,
DSHS, they'd be like, yeah, it says it to you in English, then it say it right in Spanish. So I'm like, wait a minute.
I mean, don't get me like, and at the same time too, they saying that China's economic growth. I know it's not much. They said it was projected to grow at 5%, but it came in at 4.7%. At the same time, they're saying that their export target growth was like 10%, and it came in like at 7%. These sound like small numbers, but when you're talking about $1 trillion economy, that's a lot of money. You know what I mean? And then they said basically their local governments owe debt between $7 to $11 trillion, and $800 billion of that is at risk of default. And a lot of that is guaranteed backed up by the government. You know what I mean? If these things start defaulting, which they think they will, because a lot of this debt that they had came from them, building transit stations, building, housing developments, all this kind of stuff that they really didn't need. They were just building stuff. China's like, well, shit, we got to keep 1.4 billion people. I know a lot of them are kids too. We got to keep 1 billion people, whatever, working. We got to keep them moving. Because if they're not moving or not working, not making no money, what they going to do? They're going to turn on the government. They're going to be pissed. Like, okay, we ain't got no money. We not eating. So what they do? When paid in full, he said, I ain't eating. When he stopped eating, he was like, man, my money coming short. Why the money coming short? Yeah. He was like, because I ain't eating. That's what happens. When the motherfuckers stop eating, they start looking at you look like food to them.
He's like, you got 6 bricks in that bag right now? In that bag right now.
14 keys.
Oh, is it 14 keys? 14 keys in that bag
You know
right
what I mean?
now?
And so that's basically what the people are looking at looking at the government like right now. So the government's doing shit like this. They're like, man, look, they told this company, look, you owe us $12 million from 30 years ago. Basically, they said this people made a deal 30 years ago that they didn't pay taxes on, so now they need to pay it right now. That's how bad the government is right now over there, fucked off over there.
Like that, I'm like, yo, but like a car came too close to me and my life flashed before my eyes. Now remember, you owe me $20 from 1989, 1996. So yeah,
it's crazy, bro. Like this is like people don't we're not paying attention to is China's going through a severe economic crisis right now, and we have to pay it because that makes a person more dangerous sometimes too.
Yeah,
when you are going
through
something.
You out of crisis.
Exactly. You know what I mean? War is war.
Look at America. We do it all the time.
Yeah, it not only gets you out of crisis, it redirects attention on shit. I can say, now I need you for war. Suit up. I got a job for you. Send your
Yeah,
ass over here to war. You know what I'm saying? I need you to build war equipment. I need you to do this. That's the type of shit people do. So we need to really pay attention to this. Is why I'm bringing it up, because it attaches back in, and at the same time, it hurts them trying to help out Russia in this type of a thing.
Yeah.
This is all stuff that's good for us to a degree too. If we can hurt you, that means you can't help our enemies. You can't take as much money out of your bottom line to go and help people who are trying to hurt us right now. So
yeah.
yeah.
And